Hello everybody. Today we're going to look at a way of helping us to monitor and assess English effort in our classes. And the way that I do this is to use my Google Drive account, and I set up a Google spreadsheet. So let's look at how to do that first. So I'm going to log in to my school-based Google Drive account, and as you can see, I've already got some folders set up in here. There we go. I've set up a folder for this academic year, 2014-15. I've set up another folder for my elective program classes. And as you can see, I've got a variety of different classes that I'm teaching at the moment. And today we're going to look at my grade 10 ICT class. So in this folder, I've set up a subfolder called Document Authoring, which covers a variety of tasks for this unit that we're covering. And there we go. I've already set up a couple of tasks that the students are going to be working their way through in this part of the term. I have an assessment spreadsheet called Assessment Scores, where I'm going to record their task assessment, and I have another spreadsheet here called English Scores. This is the spreadsheet that I'm going to use to assess and monitor my students' English effort in class. And this is what it looks like. Down the left hand side I've got all of the students in the class, and across the top I've got the dates of each class when the students come to visit, starting on the 18th of August. So that's set up in a sheet that I've called Week 1, and of course I can create a new sheet called Week 2. So let's just rename that sheet to be Week 2, and I can set up a spreadsheet to help me monitor each week of the course as I monitor English effort. So just to set up my Week 2 sheet, I'm going to copy all of that information from Week 1, just Control-C on your keyboard, and I'm going to paste it into Week 2, Control-V on your keyboard, and all I'll have to do with that is change the dates for whatever the dates in Week 2 are. I went and looked at a calendar because I'm not very good at that. Anyway, so I start to set up the different weeks that my students will come to class. I set up all the dates that they'll be in class, and I'm ready to go. So let's go back to my Week 1 sheet. Here we go. We start on the 18th of August 2014. I think that's a Monday, and I see these guys period 1. And at the start of class, everybody starts with 10 points for English effort. This is my system. Everybody gets 10 points. And as the class goes by, this is what we're going to look at next. I start to whittle down those points as necessary, as I monitor how the students are behaving in class. Now, you don't have to start with 10 points. It's up to you how you want to go about monitoring English effort in your classes. If you want to start with 5 points, start with 5 points. If you want to start with 0 points, start with 0 and give students credit for using English in class. I start with 10 and take off points as necessary. So in class, what I do, I walk around as I'm monitoring how the students are getting on with an activity, and I start to make notes about anybody who isn't really using language appropriately. Maybe they're kind of thoughtlessly gossiping in Vietnamese, or they're a little bit off task and are just chatting about whatever. And in that situation, I'm just going to write the name of the student onto a piece of paper. Now, of course, this means that the activities I'm setting up are very student-centered. I try very hard not to be the center of attention during this period of the lesson. My role is simply to monitor. The last thing I want are students who are constantly putting their hands up and asking for my help. I'm trying to get the students into the routine of helping each other. I'm just walking around, guiding as necessary, and just making notes of names, related to English effort. Every time I write a name down, it means they have been doing something wrong. And I'm going to use this information later with my spreadsheet. So you can see already Kronos has been busted 2 times. Irene has been busted once. V has been busted. Make no mistake, I am talking to the students as I'm doing this, and I'm letting them know why I'm writing their name on this little sheet. And they're free to negotiate with me. They can complain and say, hey, Mr. John, I have to speak Vietnamese in this situation because my partner here doesn't know what I'm talking about. I will listen to that. And if necessary, if I agree, I will cross a name off the sheet that I'm writing on. So everything is negotiable. The students have that power as well. So when I've finished taking notes, I try and just highlight names that are cropping up more than once, just to give me an idea of what I need to do when I get back to my spreadsheet. So here we are. I'm back at my desk. I've got my spreadsheet open and I've got my piece of paper with a whole bunch of names on it. And what my task now is to count each time I see a name. So I saw Kronos 2 times, so I take 2 off the 10. He's down to 8. And I just work my way through my name list and take away the number of times I see the name on the sheet. Now, I try and do this at the end of the class, and if I've got time, I'm definitely going to share this information with the students, or I may have to share it with them in the next lesson. However, very happy to project all of this information onto the screen in the class, and all the students can look at it and think about it. Now let's imagine on the 20th of August, the next lesson, I've gone through the same routine. Everyone, oh wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm just putting numbers in here. My routine is not to start with a blank list. I'm just going to get rid of all that. I always start with everybody has 10 points. That's my starting point. There we go. Everyone starts with 10 points at the beginning of the lesson, and then as we go through the lesson, I'm monitoring and assessing and communicating with the students about their English effort with my little piece of paper, and at the end of the lesson, I start to update my spreadsheet. And at some point, I will share this with the students, and we'll talk about it together. And let's imagine on our Friday period, I've done the same thing. Everyone starts with 10 points, the lesson goes through, and I'm making notes as we go. So at the end of the week, I should have a full set of information about English effort with the students. By the end of the week, I very rarely get any complaints from the students about their English effort grade. I've already been talking about it with them during the week. So what are they going to complain about? It's not a surprise. There are no secrets. Everyone knows what's going on. And you can see from the results that some students kind of get a little bit motivated. If they had a poor start to the week and they've improved, like John there in the middle, you can really highlight that in class and make John feel pretty good about himself. So what I do next is I create a total column at the end of all that, and if you look at Kronos there, the maximum score he could have got is 30, but what he actually got was 26. So he got 26 out of 30. And there you go, 87% or whatever. Now there's an easy way in a spreadsheet application to create these numbers. First of all, I'm going to add all those numbers together, 8 plus 8 plus 10. So I'm going to go and find the sum function. There it is. It's asking for some values. So I'm just going to select those 3 values. There we go. And that is the sum function. And we can see that Kronos got 26. At the end of that sum function, I'm going to divide all that by 30, because that's the maximum that he could have got. He got 26 out of 30, which comes out as 87%. And in my application, I can format that cell as a percentage, 86.67. And if I want to get rid of that 0.67, which I do, I can decrease the number of decimal points. So I'm I'm just going to take that down to, and it will round up to 87%. Now I can drag that down, and the spreadsheet software will automatically produce results for all of the other rows of data. So you can create results very quickly using spreadsheet software. Don't worry if you're new to spreadsheet software, because the IT staff in the school are going to set up a help desk to help you with this kind of thing and any other kind of thing during this academic year. Okay? And that's how I monitor and assess English effort in my classes.